Hello, 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 good morning, my listeners. This is Wiktor Doktor, and this is episode number 62 of Good Morning BSS World podcast, which I am recording for you from the heart of Europe, from Warsaw, from Poland. And the purpose of this podcast is to share with you some kind of information, some facts, some gossips, which are connected to the modern business services worldwide. This time I will summarize for you one of the most important business events focused on the outsourcing services, on the shared services, which this event is organized in Poland by Pro Progressio. Pro Progressio, for those of you who don't know it yet, is the company which I am running since 10 years already, and this is an organization who very much analyzes and focuses on this what is the most important within the world of outsourcing and shared services in Poland and worldwide. So, every year, since 9 years already, Pro Progressio is organizing Outsourcing Stars Gala. Since 6 years, this event is also followed by the BSS Forum, and since this year, for the very first time, it is also connected to the outsourcing job fairs. So these three parts are connected all together, and the purpose of them is to focus on this: what is happening in the BSS world, what are the main trends, what are the good things, bad things, and so on and so on. This year, these all events have been organized in Tricity in the north of Poland. Tricity is one of the most favorable locations when it comes to the new investments of the BPO or SSC or IT profile in Poland. So there is no surprise that this is the location where such event could be organized and actually was organized on a full scale. The whole part of those events, I mean the job fairs, the forum and the gala, took 4 days. Yes, 4 busy days. And it was, how to actually make a good summary of it? Maybe some kind of numbers. So there were nearly 400 people attending the forum and the gala. On the job fairs, there were nearly 900 visitors who were interested in taking part of the fairs and looking for the job in the BSS industry, so the numbers say it all. But let me summarize those 4 days, and I will do a short review of what happened on what day, giving you a feeling like you were there. I will also share with you today the results of a survey which was done by Peter Ryan from Ryan Strategic Advisory, and this survey was actually showing up the top 5 most favored CX offshore delivery points global. So you will get the answer for this element also within this podcast. So let's start. Yeah, why to wait longer for the answers? So the answers are as follows. I will start with the job first. For the very first time, as I mentioned a few sentences earlier, these job fairs were organized, and this was a missing part of the forum and of the gala. The forum and the gala are very much focused on the high management talks. But what about the candidates? What about the specialists? What about the employees of the BSS industry? So we thought that it would be good to organize the job fairs, and as we thought, we did it. 2 days of meetings, 2 days of a very, let's say, interesting atmosphere of the job fairs. Because besides the space where the employers could talk to their future employees, there was also a meeting area for the classes for the candidates. So people who were attending the job fairs, they could listen to experts about how to start a new job in the BSS industry. What is the role of the team leader? How is the area of co-working organized, and many other topics were covered over there. Besides that, there was also a chill out zone. Yes, so the candidates could talk to their future employees, not necessarily at the meeting points on the job fairs area, but they could sip a cup of coffee or take some fresh fruits delivered by the Daily Fruits, by the way, the company who is supplying the offices in Poland with fresh fruits. And this was the area which was quite well attended by the candidates and the employers themselves. So the job fairs 2 days, nearly 900 people were attending them. They were coming in bigger groups, in smaller groups, but it was quite interesting to see that people are still using the job fairs in the world of internet job boards or the job announcements and this kind of application forms. It was good to see live people coming, going, talking, and being interested in finding a new role in the BSS world. So the job fairs were for 2 days, but on the second day already, when the job fairs were still ongoing, the Pro Progressio organization has organized city tour for managers representing the BSS industry. What is city tour? City tour is coach travel via the cities with few stop points, finding out the new buildings which offer the space for new tenants from the BSS industry. So the tour lasts for more or less 5 hours, and we were visiting the whole Tricity, going from one building to another, finding out the history of Tricity, finding out the business potential of this city, finding out who is present already within that city, so how the competition looks like. It was quite interesting. Nearly 40 people attended the tour. We visited area of the young city in Gdańsk. We were also visiting the Garnison. We were visiting the Olivia area, and it was full of very interesting talks and finding out the potential of the office buildings. I liked it very much, and I actually attended it as a guide, as a tourist guide for this group of people who decided to participate in the city tour. But it was quite exhausting. Come on, 5 hours in the bus, moving from one point to another, so it was a good time to relax at the end of the day. And at the end of the day of the April 6th, because it was actually April 6th, 2022, when everything of that has happened, all of the attendees of the city tour, plus all of the attendees of the BSS Forum and the gala, which were supposed to be organized on the following day, have met on the 34th floor of Olivia Star building. Olivia Star is the highest office building in the whole Tri-City region, with a fantastic venue to organize meetings and talk to people who want to network with each other. So this place was chosen by Pro Progressio for the before night networking. Over 300 guests have appeared on that meeting and started to talk and share their, talks, and they organized meetings between each other to see each other after 2 years of pandemic. Yes, it was a great chance to meet face to face, no hybrid model, no internet model, but face to face with a glass of wine and fantastic food, and talk to each other. Within this group, there were the members of the Pro Progressio Club, which I have a big pleasure to manage on a daily basis, but there were also our partners, our sponsors, and the other delegates who decided to participate in the BSS Forum and Outsourcing Stars Gala in 2022. As you can hear, my voice is still not as perfect as it should, and it's already 3 days after the before party and 2 days after the BSS Forum and Outsourcing Stars Gala. But believe me, it was quite noisy, lots of music, lots of talks, so the voice might not recover yet. Anyway, so the before night usually takes 3 to 5 hours, and the same happened during that night. It ended at the midnight of April 6th, just to be ready for the following day, full of very interesting talks which were planned for the April 7th during the BSS Forum. So just to give you a touch, give you a feeling of what was discussed during the BSS Forum, here is a very short agenda of that year, of that event. Of that year. Why did I say of that year? Not of that year, of that day. So we started with the morning coffee and networking, and by the way, everything happened in the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel in Gdynia. Very, very nice place. If you decide to organize a business event in Poland and in Gdynia, then you need to choose the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel. Fantastic place with a great view on the seaside. Yeah. From the windows, it was possible to see the harbor of the Gdynia waterfront. So anyway, after the morning coffee, we have started to talk about the Tricity, about the potential of this area. We decided to cover the information, how the Tricity is organized, what is the logistic of this area, what kind of companies are present over there, how the business is being run over there, and who did it, who did talk about all of those potentials. Actually, there was quite interesting group, because we had a chance to listen to, first of all, the deputy mayor Katarzyna Gruszecka-Spychała, the deputy mayor of the city of Gdynia. We also did listen to Adam Sikorski, the director from Hapag-Lloyd AG Knowledge Center, but also to Honorata Hensel, the IT leader Europe, UK, Israel, being IT International. Also, Catherine Lazarevich, the co-founder and co-CEO of Digiteon, took part in these talks. And everything was moderated by Krzysztof Herdzik, the leadership and innovation trainer from Herdzik Pro. It was just the very, very beginning, because later on, after 2 years of pandemics, we decided to organize a panel which title was Time of Big Changes, Business Evolution in the Pandemic Times. And this topic was covered by people representing Workplace, University of Gdańsk, but also Lyreco Advantage Poland, also Invest in Pomerania and Torus. The representatives of all those 5 institutions have covered the topics of the workplace, of human behavior, of the most important things which have changed within the pandemics, and try to build a picture of how everything is going to look like in the future. This was a really, really strong opening for the BSS Forum, but later on, everything was divided into 3 business streams. First one was very much focused on the business area, second for the sales and development, and the third one for HR. So what happened within those 3 stream lines? What we wanted to achieve is actually to cover as many topics as possible and to divide the group of attendees for those who are very much oriented on business, very much oriented on the business development and personal development, and the others who are very much focused on HR areas. And that is why we have talked about the key challenges for employers in 2022, like, for example, inflation, changes in the labor law. We also focused on the development of the GBS centers. So it was a roundtable debate. Not only the moderator Michał Bielawski from the Adaptive Solutions and Advisory Group was presenting what he wanted to say, but he was talking with an audience, and the debate was quite active. So all of the topics related to the GBS operations were covered in a deeply manner. Then we also focused on the foreigners on the Polish labor market, the challenges, the opportunities, and the threats. A lot of those stuff are very up to date, so they needed to be spoken about. But how about creating an optimal and flexible workplace? This was also discussed on the forum. And how about the podcast in business? How about the role in promotion, sales, and education? This was also covered by 4 great podcasters who run their podcasts in Polish and in English. Besides that, we also discussed the Polish order, the optimal forms of employment. You need to know that in Poland, the law for employing the employees and to cover their salaries has changed a lot within the last 12 months. So this topic was very deeply discussed by Monika Smolewicz from Grant Thornton and by Samir Kayali, the principal of Samir Kayali Tax Advisory. Really deep discussion with very important areas touching the Polish order. This is not the end, because we were also connecting via internet with United States, with Vern Harnish, the founder, the CEO of Scaling Up, and we discussed the scale ups, the next phase of your organization's development. very interesting talk, and Vern did his best. Absolutely a great panel, which was run also together with Karol Popa, who is representing Scaling Up in Poland. In parallel to this discussion, there was also a talk run by Wojciech Hera, the keynote and motivational speaker who has focused on successful sale process. Yes, I love to listen to Wojciech Hera. He is absolutely the guy who can talk about selling process from day beginning to the end of the day. And it was great to listen to him to find out what are the current trends in the selling process. The house was full, the room was full, so Wojtek has really a big audience. But it wasn't the end of the forum, because here also Adam Wosing, Katarzyna Piotrowska and Łukasz Trzeszkowski, all of them were representing such organizations like Pracownia EBS, CPL Poland and also PwC. They have focused on such an area. They were trying to answer the question how to keep an employee in the company, the answer to Great Resignation. I am more than sure that you heard about the Great Resignation and this wave of people who are leaving the companies. So how to protect the companies and how to keep employees within the businesses. So what is the answer to Great Resignation? This topic was discussed by Adam, Kasia and Łukasz. And for the end, for the desert of the whole forum, with the full room of people, still at the end of the day, we had a chance to listen to Peter Ryan. Peter Ryan was absolutely fantastic keynote speaker who joined the BSS Forum in 2022. Peter Ryan flew to Poland from Montreal, from Canada, to share information about the global locations for BPO, SSC and GBS centers, and discussed and also presented the latest trends and shared the idea of the future locations. It was absolutely great to listen to Peter, who covered the whole globe, has presented information about such countries like Honduras, like Poland, like Colombia, like Georgia, like South Africa, like Rwanda, and many others. It was very deeply analyzed what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the worries, and what are the trends of choosing those locations. I especially liked one. It was Mexico. No, it wasn't just Mexico. It was the border of Mexico between Mexico and United States. It was the very first time when during such analysis, not the country, but the certain area of a country was touched and discussed why it is so important for the nearshoring from the perspective of the US-based clients. It wasn't the end, because Peter Ryan, for the very first time, has announced very important information related to the top 5 most favored CX offshore delivery points worldwide. Yes, we had a chance to see who has chosen the top 5 locations. It was done by nearly 700 decision makers worldwide, who has pointed out what are the favorable locations to cooperate with the CX companies. And these top 5 are as follows. Number 5, Mexico. Number 4, Egypt. Number 3, Malaysia. Number 2, tie for 2 countries, Poland and Philippines. I was so happy to see Poland on a second place. And number 1, India and South Africa. Those are absolutely very great players on the global market. I am not surprised that India and South Africa is keeping the position on number 1, but Poland and Philippines are really close. So I hope to see Poland on number 1 next year. If we will touch number 1, I don't know. We will see. But who knows what will happen and what will be the analysis of the replies of the CX decision makers within the next couple of months. This is still not the end. The day was not at the end. It was full of emotions, full of information, but the biggest emotions came at the night. Yes, at the night. There was a 9th edition of Outsourcing Stars Gala. Nearly 400 people attended that night. And just to let you know how it is organized, it is first of all some kind of an aperitif with a champagne in the very beginning, but later on we've got a summary of the business year, we've got the finals of Outsourcing Stars contest and announcement of the top companies who have did their best within the year of 2021, and later on it is followed with a great food, great fun, and great networking. It was very international event because we had representatives of such countries like Canada, Belgium, Germany, Ireland, Slovakia, Italy, Hungary, Ukraine, and Poland. So lots of representatives from various countries who were discussing all together this what they wanted to share with each other. I like this event very much because I am the how to call myself, my role on that event. I am the person with the red suit on the stage. Yes, this is myself who is actually running this event from the beginning to the very end, and I must say I enjoy it very much. So the contest, the networking, the great food and great music happened during that night. I advise you to follow Outsourcing Stars webpage or the bssforum.com webpage. I think this one would be even better, because in the coming days I am now talking to you on the day of the April 10th, so just probably within the next 2, 3, maybe 4 more days, we will share the gallery of the photos and some films from that event. So follow this page and check it out, how we did, how the Outsourcing Stars Gala was organized. It ended late night, or maybe I should say very early morning on the following day. That's it. This is what I wanted to share with you on this podcast, on the 62nd edition of the Good Morning BSS World podcast. I should come back to you very shortly with some new information related to BSS World, BSS topics, BSS challenges and trends which are every day appearing next to us. If you like this, what you have just heard within this podcast, then I suggest you should follow up and subscribe to the podcast, which I do record with a big pleasure for you, which is Good Morning BSS World podcast, run for you from Poland, from the city of Warsaw. If you are interested in this, what I am doing on a daily basis in Pro Progressio, then why not to contact me? I am quite easy to be found on LinkedIn, so just go to my profile, contact with me, and I'm happy to talk to you about the BSS world on a daily basis. For today, the end. Full stop. Thank you very much and talk to you later. Thank you. Bye bye.